everyone, I'm really happy that you joined me for this first part of the Lean Maker course. In this course I want to show you how you get from a home-based maker into someone who can ship the products worldwide. And in the first part we're going to start with how you can build your audience, because this is the basic part for all what comes afterwards. So building audience means that you create an online presence. This can be like WordPress based website or any other tool you like. It's important, or at least was important for me, that it is easy to use, easy to create content for that, easy to upload pictures, schemas in my case for electronic projects. All that should be as easy as possible, so you don't waste any time on things that are not that necessary. And I think it's important, since you want to acquire an audience for later, it's important that you create valuable and quality content. So figure out what your topic is and how you can help your audience. In my case, I started by creating a comparison of different electronic components, as you can see on this slide. And it turned out that up to date, this is one of the most visited pages. It's very well ranked on Google, and when you enter the main topic here, ESP8266 controller, then there's a quite high chance that you will visit my page. And so why is this? I helped people deciding that just entering this field, with which component they should start. So I created valuable content for my audience. Another way to provide quality content is to share your projects. Since this is about makers and how to create your products, you're probably already creating projects, and maybe you're also sharing them. So talk about your projects, and Google and other search engines will make sure that the visitors will come by and frequent your page. In this case, I created a tool to share or to see the airplanes landing and starting from Zurich Airport, and I shared everything from like detailed instructions, the source code, also how to build the hardware, where to buy it, and this allows you to create a nice little tool, and you will have done it yourself. So that's quite nice, and it's all for free. I didn't charge for that. So I think it's very important that you first share your content and then later think about how to make money. It doesn't work the other way around. It at least never did for me. Here is another project that I shared. It's a way, or it shows how to turn 9 Swiss francs, it's about $9 as well, body scale into a Wi-Fi body scale, which is internet connected, which tracks your weight, compared to a body scale that usually would cost around $100 or more. So I created detailed instructions how to build that scale or how to modify that scale, and offered the source code for free. So this is another way of sharing your project. In this course, I will over and over again share the tools that I like to do all that. And I think when you start, it's quite helpful and important that you quickly track your progress in whatever you're doing. And since this part is about building your audience, you want to track how well your audience building works. And free tool, easy to use tool is Google Analytics. It helps you to figure out which pages are very popular with your audience, If you're making any progress, if your audience grows, where are they coming from? Are they finding your page through organic search, like Google search? Or are there links that point to your website? This is also very important. Or does your email campaign work? How many of the visitors come from social media, and so on and so on. And it also helps you to find exceptional events, like on this chart on the bottom. You can see here there was like no traffic or very little traffic. And if you look at your traffic data from time to time, you can figure out that there's actually something wrong with your page. In my case, something was really broken, and the visitors didn't reach my page, and I just didn't realize for 1 or 2 days. Another important tool is the tool that helps you to connect and provide your content optimally to the search engines. The tool from Google is called Webmaster Tools or Search Console, but there are also similar tools from other search engines like Microsoft Bing and so on. The tool helps you to figure out what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong with your site, in order to make it available to search engines. And this is really important because search engines drive a lot of, or can drive a lot of traffic to your page if you're doing everything right. So you want to make your page as good looking as possible for the search engines. There are many aspects. You can provide a whole list of all your sites on your website to the search engine, so it doesn't really have to crawl through it. That it gets it in a machine-readable format. You can also see if you're providing good micro formats, which is important if you're going to social media. If you're adding a link to your blog post from, let's say, Twitter, then Twitter goes to your website and just grabs a tiny part of the blog post and displays it as a micro format with image and the title and maybe a summary or a summary of the post. So preparing your content for social media, also for search engines, is really important and helps you to drive traffic more easy. Okay, so you started gaining some audience. Where are you going from now? And one of the most important things is list building. What is list building? It's about building up your newsletter list. And why is that? Or why is that important? You might say email is very out of date, it's very old, people are not using it. But it's the opposite, because email is so personal, it gets into your inbox. And you can even address, as a sender, you can address the recipient by a first name if you have that information. So it feels a lot more directed and personal than, let's say, just a blog post, which is more like a broadcast to everyone visiting. You can very well also target or prepare the content of your email to your subscribers, because you know where they have subscribed, what they are interested in. You can tailor the content of the email very much for the recipients. So this is about purposeful and targeted. Another advantage is that you own the email list. You own that information, as opposed to social media like Twitter or Facebook. Your followers, they basically belong to Twitter, or the information about your followers belong to Twitter or Facebook. And if they decide to change the rule or ban you from their services, then you just lost everything. And you want to build your business on solid ground, so you don't want to just play with this lightly. So own your contacts, and the best way to do that is with a newsletter list. And also email is very directed. It's from you to the recipient, and you can tailor it very much. So how to get your list to grow? When I first thought about adding a subscription to my page, I just added a little form on the sidebar where you could enter your name and your email address, and then I started waiting, and I waited and I waited, and maybe in a year I had about 1 subscription. And I was thinking, what am I doing wrong? But then I realized I'm not really offering anything for my visitors, not really a reason why they should subscribe. Probably they didn't even see the form. So a good way to make it easier for your visitors to subscribe is to offer them something in return. Maybe you have seen pop-ups like this one here below, where you get something in return, like a book or a video or a free plugin or whatever. And in return, you just have to enter your name and your email address. So, and this offering from you to your visitors is called a lead magnet, and it helps to grow your list a lot faster. That was my experience. The moment I turned this on, or I added such a pop-up, my list started growing a lot faster, really, but like factors faster. Instead of maybe 1 in a year, I had 5 to 10 per day. So you see that really makes a difference. So, but what could you offer as a lead magnet? You're just starting out, right? I didn't have ebooks or video courses at the time, so I looked at the top content, which was most popular, and I wrapped it up in a PDF, made it look nicer, added some more content, and I kind of had like a little ebook. And I offered this in the pop-up, and that already was enough to have a lot more people subscribing to my newsletter list. The tools for that that I used for that are MailChimp, which lets you collect the emails and later also start email campaigns. Based on these email addresses, you can nicely tailor the content of the emails. It can be plain text, it can contain images, and up to 2,000 subscriptions, it's for free, so there is not really a lot of risk for you to try that out. It also contains forms that can pop up. I didn't know that from the beginning, or maybe this was added later, so I started using MailMunch, which can connect to MailChimp to send the subscribed email addresses, and they work together nicely, and it's also very easy to embed MailMunch pop-up forms in your WordPress. There is a plugin for that, and it's all very easy. You can style it, and it's also for free for a basic set of features. Now this chart from Google Analytics at the bottom, I added here to show that it really works and is worth to have a newsletter list and that people actually read it. So this is like the normal traffic that I have, and what happened here from one day to the other, it's when I started or when I sent out an email campaign referring to one of my new blog posts, and you see the number of sessions almost doubled from one day to the other. Then it slowly went down back to what I had before. So just to show you that it really helps bringing back your visitors, because some of them might never come back. They found what they searched for, but if they subscribe to your newsletter list, you still have a way to contact them and potentially bring them back, and in a later state also sell them new products, new offerings that you have on your website. Now about social media. They're really important, I think. I also started to build up my presence there quite from the start. but as I mentioned, they have some drawbacks. One of them is that you don't own the contacts. It might be that Twitter and Facebook changed rules and you don't have these contacts anymore. But also every social media tool or platform has different behavior, how people perceive it. Twitter, for instance, has a very short lifespan of your post, because there's so much in your stream that you just might miss out on most of the posts. At least that's what happens usually to me. Even if you're following someone, you're probably never going to see all the posts. So the chance that your tweet is being seen by your visitors is relatively low. And there are other advantages and drawbacks on the other platforms. I also have a Facebook page for my blog to post new blog posts there. Also Pinterest and LinkedIn. And there are also tools that can help you to do that automatically. I think WordPress, for instance, can do this even with built-in features or with the additional chatback that also comes from WordPress. So you just write your blog post and it gets advertised on every platform that you connected automatically. You don't even have to do anything about it. Okay. Then another tooltip that I got to like a lot, but it also means a bit of work, but it helps you to build up your social media follower number very quickly. The tool is called Crowdfire. It's an app. I think it also runs in the browser, but I use it as an app on my smartphone. And it's a bit like your assistant that every time at every day at a defined time tells you that you should work on your on growing your followers or number of followers. It does this in a conversational way. You can see here on this example that it talks to you basically with like a chat. Of course, it's a bot, but this bot is intelligent and tells you, "Oh, come on, let's continue with your work on your social media spread." And it makes suggestions to you. It tells you to follow this and that person because it's good for your network, or to unfollow inactive accounts because it's bad for your follower-followee ratio. And it kind of keeps you doing that for a while, and it really works. In the time when I was doing this actively every day, the number of my Twitter followers was growing very quickly. But it takes time every day, maybe 5 to 10 minutes. You can do that when you're on the way to work by public transport. Please not when you're driving. But it's very easy to use, and it really works. So now we were just talking about raising the number of or growing your audience. But since this is also about bringing your products to market and make some money, we also I want to show you how even in this stage where you don't have a product yet can start making some money. As a side note, a while back I also used Google AdSense, which displays advertisement on your page, and then for every click you get a few cents as a commission. But for me this doesn't work anymore. It might be that in your field it works better, but it's just really a few cents every day. Even that I have a lot of visitors, maybe they're blind to the advertisement, or there are some other reasons why it doesn't work anymore. So I'm not doing AdSense anymore. But there are other options, and one of these options is called affiliate marketing. So what is that? You do reviews of products, or in my case, you describe projects that use components from a shop, and while you're linking to that product on another shop, you add a little bit of tracking information, and then if if your visitor becomes a customer of that other shop, you get a kickback, you get a commission for that sale. Depending on how successfully you're doing that, it might be like 4%. If in some cases, in some networks, it grows to 8 or 10% of the revenue that the shop has. So this is actually quite attractive, because once you set everything up, you wrote your post, people are visiting your page, it kind of just is passive income. You don't have to do so much about it anymore, and the money just comes in. But I also have to say, it's not, at least in my case, it's not like a huge amount of money, but it's very decent. So depending on various factors, it's a few $100 every month. And the beauty about it is I don't have to do anything about it anymore. I write more content, of course, but and old content might not be interesting anymore for my visitors, so there's less revenue from that. But it's actually nice, because I would write the content anyway, and it's a chance to make a little bit money on the side. Yeah, that's about that. So where can you find networks that support this, or let you allow to set up this affiliates thing? So certainly one of the most popular is Amazon Associates. I heard of some people that kind of got rich by doing that. They reviewed products from Amazon, and then had the link to Amazon, and if someone would buy there, they would get a decent share of it. And also the more products you actually get to be sold on Amazon, the higher your share or the higher your commission percentage is. There is one drawback depending on how your audience looks like, and this is that you have to set up an associate account with each and every market of Amazon. So there's you need an account for North American market, one for the European, and one for Japan, and one for Brazil. So everywhere where you want to be active, you have to set up an account, and you collect money separately from those referrals. Why is that a problem? It increases the effort on your side to set everything up. So first, create accounts, make sure that the money can flow to you if you actually make some sales. And also, if you have visitors from all over the world, you have to make sure that the links on your page direct your visitor to the right market. So I just have one blog post on my page referring to certain electronic components, for instance. And if my visitor comes from North America, it should direct the visitor by clicking on the link to the North American market. If the visitor is from Europe, it should direct the visitor to the European market. And there are tools for that. There are WordPress plugins, or if you're using another content management system, there are probably other plugins. But so there's a lot more effort to do that. And for me, it never really worked. I don't know what, but I didn't invest so much time in it. So I quickly switched to another program that is from a company called Banggood, or a platform called Banggood. They're based in China. They sell basically everything from shoes to electronic components to home appliances, whatever you can imagine. So there's certainly something that would fit for you and your visitors. When you start out, I think when you begin, you start with 4% of referral commission based on the paid amount or the product sold. And then if you're getting more successful, this percentage increases up to 8 or even 10%. They pay out by PayPal, or Western Union, or in some cases even bank transfer, which is, I think, a new feature. So this, as I mentioned, this is what I'm using currently, and it produces some nice, not really steady, but passive. It produces some passive income that I don't really have to do so much for. Every month a little bit, and this pays easily all the bills of hosting and so on. So it's kind of a no-brainer to do that. For a while, I was also quite successful with using AliExpress. You might have heard of AliExpress. It's part of the Alibaba company, also based in China. AliExpress works a little bit different than Banggood. It's more like a marketplace, and if you're a seller, you can offer your product there, and then the merchant ships directly to you as a buyer. And they also have an affiliate program which worked really nice for a while, and they had, I think, a long time where they would track your sale. So someone would click on your link and then get to the product page on AliExpress, and even if the visitor would buy only after, I think, 15 days or so, you would still get that commission. But then from one day to the other, they changed that behavior into that your customer, your visitor, would have to buy immediately when he first clicked that link. And as a matter of fact, or at least for my visitors, it turned out that they usually take some time, they look at the product and they think a bit about it, they come back to my page, maybe they click again, but then it doesn't count. And only after a while they will buy the product, and then it doesn't count for me, even that I drove the traffic to AliExpress. So that made a lot of people angry, and I also left that program and I removed all my links to AliExpress. I found similar products on Banggood, and now I'm actually quite happy with Banggood, but there's still, of course, maybe there might be other good options or options that work better. I don't know. That's the one that I'm using at the moment. What should you pay attention for if you choose an affiliate program? And the most important question I already mentioned, it's how your sales are tracked. There are different technologies, cookies or session-based, as I just said. Cookies, they live. There are little pieces of information that are downloaded on your computer when you first visit a page, and then they can live for a certain while. And this is the technology that many affiliate programs use to track the information that you came from, for instance, my blog, and bought something on their website. So cookies are in this case your friend, because they help your affiliate partner to recognize a sale even after many days. Sessions are very similar to cookies, but they usually live a lot shorter, maybe just a few hours. They might end when you close the browser, and this means that if it's session based, that your the time that your sale or your referral is counted as a sale is a lot shorter, which is bad for you usually. This goes hand in hand with the duration. As I already said, it's either counted in the same session, or there's a certain number of days where it's been still accredited to you. Some programs have 15 days, some have 30 days. The longer the better for you, of course. Also, on the other hand, worse for the affiliate partner, but there always has to be a good match or a good ratio where both partners profit. And this directs a bit towards the Amazon market. You have to match the offerings of your affiliate partner to your audience. So if you're talking about electronic components, don't link to products like socks or pants, because then you won't have any success. It should really match. Again, it's this thought of offering valuable content for your users, and this affiliate income is kind of your payment for helping the customer to find the right product and referring them to a good page. If they trust you and if they like the links that you're offering, then you will get a reward for it. But if you're not making any sales from that, you have to ask yourself, maybe you're offering the wrong products. Okay, let's get to the summary of this first part. What did we hear? We heard that providing quality content is very crucial to all your efforts of building and growing your audience. If you have interesting content, then everything else will fall into place. It might take some time, it's not the fastest way, but with every blog post where you're providing interesting aspects of your field, more and more people will find you through search engines, or also will come back to get more of the same. Then I also recommend that you start tracking your progress from the beginning. For this you can use tools like Google Analytics. There are other tools that are open source that you can host on your own server if you don't want to send all your user information to Google. Then the third point is we heard about list building and how important that is. That email is still relevant and a very important aspect of your marketing campaign. And we learned how you can grow your list more easily with lead magnets. Lead magnets can be part of your already provided content, which is interesting for or very popular with your visitors. I also talked about the social media and how you can use it. Also that it's kind of not as valuable as an email list, because the information doesn't, or the followers or the information about the followers don't belong to you, but they belong to the social media networks, and they can take that away from you easily. And also in the last step we heard about affiliate marketing and how it can help you to start earning some money with your content, with your maker content on the side, how it works, which platforms are available. Okay, so this was the first part of this course. In the next part we will hear how you can get from an idea, from a project, from a blog post on your blog to an actual product in very easy steps without investing a lot of money, starting with drop shipping and then finding a supplier that builds your product later. And then in the third part we will go into how to ship your product worldwide from using fulfillment services, and that will conclude this 3-part course. Okay, thank you again very much for joining this talk, this presentation, and I hope to see you in the next part again. Okay, bye-bye.